Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. You know, Dippin' Dots are the ice cream of the future. What? I finally finished the Cassandra Cain perspective, and I'm only doing a single comic today. I'm taking things a bit easy. When last we joined Ulysses Solomon Archer, we technically didn't, because we were actually joining his truck. Yes, the entire time it was his super high-tech big rig that was narrating the story for us for reasons that remain a complete mystery to me. In it, the supervillain Midnight once again tried to attack US-1, but thanks to the sapient truck, he was able to fight her off. However, the Highwayman, his mortal enemy responsible for his brother's murder, was able to download a whole bunch of information from the truck. So let's dig into US-1 number 8 and see if the comic decides to up the bonkers factor some more.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. Brodsky, you're not the smartest. Life out, you're not an artist. Anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he's a man punch, wears a birdie hat. Linkara, he has a magic gun. Where'd he purchase that? Linkara, coins, robots, Amazons and trucks. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Eastbound and down, loaded up in trucking. We gonna do what they say can't be done.
The cover is not very interesting. It's that same kind of weird washed out look as the last cover, plus a mixture of art styles. The very realistic painting of the truck at the bottom, the more painted but still clearly drawn Midnight, then standard comic artwork for Taryn and Mary, and finally a weird silhouette of the Highwayman. Or possibly Dracula, who is a recurring character in the Marvel Universe and all. I don't know if it's bad, but I can't really say it's good. The whole thing just seems confused. Not helped by the artwork of the good Mr. Archer up in the top left corner. He looks like he's really struggling to give that thumbs up. Can I stop now? We open with US-1 trying to run down Retread and Papa Wheelie. Oh my god, he finally snapped! This is what happens when that metal plate in his skull won't stop receiving C.W. McCall songs! And you readers thought running everyone over with a truck was the way to end a tricky plot situation. Not start one off. I don't care when it happens, just run over everybody in Marville with a truck and I'll be happy. We see that US seems to be going in circles around a tree, supposedly chasing the two. He suddenly hits the brakes hard, but the loose soil sends the truck skidding towards them. Fortunately, the truck suddenly dispenses a grappling hook that grabs onto the tree, pulling the truck to a stop before it hits them. All the years I spent drag racing, that's as close as I ever came to meeting that big garage mechanic in the sky. Papa Wheelie, the original star of Fast and the Furious. US comes out of the truck to confirm that all the systems are working just fine, and this was all a big training exercise for them. That involved putting his friends and loved ones in actual danger. I think that headband might be on a bit too tight, Ulysses. Sorry about that, Papa, but I really wanted to make sure old US-1 was in top shape. Never know when the Highwayman or one of his agents is gonna pop up and cause more trouble. Never know when I'm gonna have to swerve around a tree and not hit them. US comments on how the truck seems more responsive than before. Well, your rig did seem to have almost a mind of its own the other day, the way it seemed to fight that nasty Midnight lady all by its lonesome. Ha 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 ha! They bestowed consciousness onto a truck that can't communicate with them, and it is forever locked in a purgatory of people thinking it's just an inanimate object. They go inside the truck stop and discuss all the problems they have. While they did pay off the previous debt on the place, another mortgage payment is coming up and they don't have much money to pay it off. What's more, when they attempted to find Midnight after last time, all they found was the wreckage of her motorcycle. They did manage to retrieve Midnight's whip, and they think maybe they can try to track her down. How about it, Retread? You used to be a private detective once, didn't you? How would we go about checking this for clues? Well, first we gotta get hired to investigate whether your truck has been cheating on you or not. Gee, US, as far as I went in the private eye biz was talking like bogey. I never got to the clues, and that's why you never got that job working on Blue's Clues, retread. Taryn O'Connell, the red-headed trucker rival and possible love interest of US, comes in looking severely beaten up. They ask her what happened, but waitress Mary is annoyed.
I don't know why you have to make such a fuss over her, US. She came in here on her own power. She can't be too badly hurt.
Mary would later go to work for the health insurance industry. As a counter to Mary's jerky comments, Taryn grabs US and kisses him hard. Annoyed, Mary storms out of the restaurant to US's confusion. Now why is she mad at me, wide load? I didn't do anything. I just don't understand women. Here's a thought, maybe she's not mad at you, dude, but the woman who kissed you. I know you're the main character, but not everything is about you. Hey, I'm a woman, and even I don't understand women, US. Written by a dude. I mean, I really like Taryn, but sometimes she's so feisty and competitive that I don't know whether to hug her or slug her. She is literally standing a few feet behind you as you say this, man. Also, wanting to hit someone because they are feisty and competitive. Our hero, everybody! Anyway, Taryn says that she got in an accident on the road and falls into US's lap to continue making out with him. But then Mary storms back in, holding the midnight costume. She claims she found it in Taryn's truck behind the seat of her cab. And her making out with you was justification enough for me to go digging around in someone else's truck? Taryn denies ever having seen the outfit before, but everyone is now suspicious of her because of this. We cut over to the realty offices of Clutch, Grab, and Legreed. What I love about this comic is how subtle and ambiguous it is about its characters. Yes, it seems that the banker guy from last time is also a partner in this firm, and they want to get their hands on the shortstop truck stop.
Now then, Phil, what seems to be taking so long in our takeover of the shortstop property? Phineas and I are becoming quite impatient.
Man, Phineas and Ferb grew up to be real assholes. Actually, this guy's name is Ebenezer, no doubt to evoke Scrooge, except, of course, Scrooge's first name was Ebenezer deliberately as a contrast to his last name. The root words have a Hebrew meaning, stone of help, with the latter half of the name specifically meaning to help or support. So it seems Baldy here has the same thing going for him, but with a different reason for the choice. Through Phil's connections at the bank, we managed to learn that land is going to be bought up for a luxury condominium development. Enjoy these new luxury condominiums! Right out in the middle of the desert with nothing around them for miles. They want the deed to the land so they can sell it off to the condominium developers. We shall sell the land to the Bongo Condo Corporation and add greatly to our already considerable wealth. After all, that's the American way, isn't it? You know what's sad is I can't even call this kind of thing unrealistic anymore. Also, I'm really sad that the developers aren't actually called Mondo Condo. Back to the truck stop, the group have turned on Taryn and now believe she's Midnight.
I always say the only thing worse than a trucker gone bad is a female trucker gone bad.
Again, written by a dude. Taryn doesn't help her case when she spots the Midnight Whip on a chair and picks it up to defend herself from the approaching group. Mary rushes her and she breaks a window with the whip, leaping outside. US wonders why she wouldn't just use the mind control powers of the whip on them if she was Midnight, but they table that question and pursue. But even as our intrepid band of truckers and short order cooks pursue Taryn into the parking lot, an unsuspecting motorcyclist arrives. You know, given this comic's track record, I wouldn't be shocked if it turned out this was the Terminator. Taryn decides to try to get back to her truck and uses the whip to pull the guy off the motorcycle, and holy crap, that whip has a hell of a long range on it. A bullwhip usually taps out at 20 feet, but this thing looks closer to 30 or 40 in some of these panels. Anyway, she grabs the guy off the bike.
The food here must be really bad if they have to get customers like this.
Ah, so the truck stop is a Hardee's chain then. The bike goes out of control and knocks our heroes back, distracting them long enough for her to get on it and ride off. US realizes he can't get to the truck in time to pursue her, plus his silver dollar remote control was damaged last issue. But of course, the truck is alive now, so it just turns on and starts following her. Well, okay, US has a different explanation for why the truck moves on its own. Somehow, when Midnight's Hypno Whip hit my remote control coin, the power feedback created a link between my truck and my metallic CB skull. Now I can direct US-1 by my thoughts alone, without using a mechanical aid.
This makes no sense, and yet it's working.
The Highwayman is also observing these events on his holographic view screen.
So, I was correct in thinking that Ulysses Solomon Archer has gained some sort of mental link with his accursed vehicle. Little does he know that this development merely makes it that much easier to spy on him.
Because a telepathic radio control link with his truck allows you to spy on someone utilizing camera footage on a holographic view screen. I'm starting to think this series was made by pulling random words out of a hat and going from there. The Highwayman declares that soon the final confrontation between the two will occur, and that their rivalry will be ended once and for all. Except the first part of this is in a thought bubble, whereas the once and for all part is yelled out loud. Weird, but he is alone, so it wouldn't be that big a deal. Except it turns out someone is observing the Highwayman as well, so that must be weird for the observer. The Highwayman rants in the best melodramatic tradition. Yeah, most melodramatic rants are done entirely inside one's own head before just belting out the final sentence. Whoever is observing the Highwayman says that the villain is using their technology to battle US, but soon they'll discover who is superior. Back to the chase, US manages to get into the cab of the truck and uses its arsenal to bring her to a stop, and the editor's notes decide to talk to each other. Once again, the comic has officially declared itself as being completely farcical, as the caption boxes discuss bad jokes. But yeah, Taryn is knocked off the bike and they confront her again, wanting answers. It's not a good case for her. She took to the whip very quickly, the costume in her truck, being a natural on a motorcycle like Midnight, and her best defense of running away was that she just panicked. And she does so again, readying to use the whip once more to defend herself when Retread says they should rush her. In the struggle, she presses a button on the whip that causes a small blast, knocking away the group and seemingly killing her. Why did she do it? If she was Midnight, she would have known better than to make the whip do that. Ah, well, let's just clean up the body. Won't be the first time we've had to dispose of a corpse at this truck stop. And so our comic ends with the arrival of the real Midnight, who picks up her whip. She didn't know what to do with the whip because she's not Midnight. I am! My God! Taryn made an exact double of herself to try to throw us off the trail! Anyway, this comic is fairly decent. Oh sure, it's still got the same goofy trappings of the series, with some added bits like the over-the-top villains and tongue planted firmly in chic captions, but the suspicion of Taryn as Midnight is done pretty well. They have no reason to believe Mary would lie about finding the costume, and all the circumstantial evidence points at her, especially in light of her injuries after the supposed accident that could have come when the truck launched those missiles. The action was pretty decent, and the book is still quite enjoyable. Despite all the goofiness, this is actually a bit of grounded storytelling and believable character dynamics right before stuff just goes hog wild for the remaining issues. But while there are still plenty more issues of US-1 to go through, next time we must bid farewell to a long-running segment of this show, for it is the final Tandy Computer WizKids comic.
Sitting on my couch reviewing comics, the worst words that you will ever see. It's sad that comics
mean, I'm taking things so easy today, these aren't even Dippin' Dots. It's like a Dippin' Dots knockoff.
Hello, my friends. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe, hit the bell, and share it with others. And if you get a chance, maybe check out my Patreon.